Turkish military vehicles near the Syrian border yesterday. Turkey is reinforcing its positions on both sides of that border, just days after it said it would delay a planned offensive in Syria. And Donald Trump is cheering them on today, tweeting that the Turkish president says he'll eradicate ISIS in Syria and that U.S. troops are coming home. Rebecca Collard is tracking these developments for us from Beirut. Rebecca, thanks so much for joining us. What is happening on the ground in Syria right now?
Well, this morning, John, basically what we've seen is these Syrian rebels backed by Turkey, armed men in these convoys of trucks heading towards the city of Manbij. Now, Manbij is a town that has been a flashpoint for tensions in Syria between Turkey and the U.S. Now, currently, it's controlled by Kurdish fighters from the Syrian Democratic Forces. These have been basically the U.S.'s ground troops fighting ISIS in Syria as part of the U.S.-led coalition's war on the militants. But now it seems that there is a buildup of forces, Turkish-backed forces, around this town. And that, of course, is raising fears that when the U.S. withdraws, which is, of course, something that Donald Trump has promised, that what will happen is that Turkey or these Turkish-backed forces will move in to essentially push the Kurdish forces out because, of course, the Turkish officials have been clear that they will not allow these Kurdish fighters to remain on its borders, John.
So what do we know about the Turkish government's motives here, Rebecca?
That's an excellent question, Don, because, of course, you know, it sounds when Donald Trump's tweet today sounds like Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the Turkish president, has promised to go into Syria and clear out ISIS, to take care of the rest of the ISIS fighters. But what we've heard the Turkish officials and what we've heard the Turkish president talk about over the last few months and even before that, really, is their desire to, eradicate ISIS. But first and foremost, most of the discourse has been about these Kurdish fighters. And this has really raised tensions between Washington and Ankara because these Kurdish fighters have been allies of the U.S., and Turkey wants to not see them in this territory. So Donald Trump may be talking about the Turkish troops going in to clear out ISIS, more likely what we're going to see is these Turkish troops or Turkish-backed Syrian forces clashing with Kurdish fighters if and when the U.S. Withdraws its troops from these areas, John. And I think that is really concerning, both to the Kurdish fighters on the ground that have been U.S. allies, but also to many people in the international community and across the region.
Thanks for this, Rebecca. Rebecca Collard in Beirut.